Ah, yes, Spencer Rattler, the man that was called many things at Oklahoma, from not being a team player to being an NIL bust to being a cancer to the team. All those horrible things that were said about Spencer Rattler. And now I'm starting to hear rumblings and starting to see things after the ensuing Lincoln Riley fiasco that took place that makes me think that, like Arsenio Hall likes to say, things that make you go, yeah, I think we might have been fed somewhat of a false narrative about Mr. Rattler. A little hocus pocus going on. Let's talk. How's it going out there today, guys and gals in sporting land? I'm JPC. I'm the outlaw of college football, as you well know. And as always, this is, and without a shadow of a doubt, and always will be, the home of the Common Joe, Common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. That's right. Now, let's get right to it here. Spencer Rattler. Everybody's calling a man names, saying he's not a team player, as I said in the lead up. Basically portrayed as the villain in this whole situation with Oklahoma. But there's some things that's came about that's made things look a little bit slightly different for Mr. Rattler, in my opinion. Austin Stogner transferred to South Carolina, and then he was followed by Spencer Rattler to South Carolina. Shane Beamer, former staff member of the Oklahoma Sooners, I don't think he was offense coordinator, but he was like maybe a quarterback's coach or some kind of position coach. But he's got the Beamer name. As you know, Frank Beamer was a legend at Virginia Tech, and he got the job at South Carolina, and now he's assembling quite a nice little transfer portal class. They need to count that as recruiting rankings, I think. But, that's another topic for another day. But my question is, if Spencer Rattler was such a bad guy, and people thought so badly of him, and he was all these things, then why is it that Austin Stogner is willing to play with the guy again? They're both, you can say what you want to say, but Spencer probably would not have went to South Carolina had Stogner not went there. I mean, there's that connection to Shane Beamer. That could have been the trump card for both of them. But Stogner being there, nevertheless, I think contributed to Spencer being there. And Stogner is a pretty good prospect. He's probably one of the best tight ends in America. So he's going to want to play with a quarterback that's someone that he can get along with, someone that he probably don't think is an NIL bust or a cancer on a team. So I think the whole Lincoln Riley fiasco thing and the infighting that went on between Lincoln Riley and the administration of Oklahoma had an ill effect on a lot of those players. They knew it was going on. We didn't know all the stuff that was going on, but these players knew what was going on. And, Spencer Rattler's been portrayed as the villain that maybe had a little something to do with Oklahoma's slight fall from grace. They didn't really fall from grace. They're still going to a bowl, and I think they win 10 games this year. I'm not sure. I think they're 10-2 or 9-2 or something like that. They didn't have a bad year. Just not the year that they wanted, and a lot of the blame was laid at Spencer Rattler's feet early on. But Caleb Williams came in and done pretty good, but then he started having off games, like against Kansas and whatnot. And this whole time, we didn't know that Lincoln Riley was actually thinking about leaving for another college. I mean, there's always been rumors that Riley might go to the Dallas Cowboys or somewhere like that. And you can see that in the NFL. But to make a lateral move to USC still boggles my mind. I just don't get it. I mean, yeah, I know USC offered him a lot of money and a lot of perks, but I'm sure Oklahoma could have came close to that. They may not have matched it, but they could have came close enough. So I think that Rattler just got caught up in the moment there. I think he got caught up in a bad situation, and there's a lot of toxicity going on around there in the Sooner administration and behind the scenes. And now that Riley has left and Oklahoma has moved on and brought in a pretty damn good coach, in my opinion, in Brent Venables, everybody can start healing. The Sooners and their fan base can start healing and get back in the mix in the national picture as far as the playoffs go. And Spencer Rattler can move on and hopefully have an illustrious career with the South Carolina Gamecocks, much to the chagrin of possibly some SEC East teams and Clemson. But I was one of those people that was just going along with the, you know, you get caught up in the mob sometimes. We all do. We all get caught up in the mob and want to blame somebody. And I took a few shots at Spencer myself. But now, to me, I think the jury's a little bit out still on Spencer Rattler. I think that he's getting a second chance under Shane Beamer, who's a great offensive mind. And I think we might see a different Spencer Rattler this coming season, the 2022. Spencer Rattler, who we all thought might be a Heisman Trophy winner and a first-round pick in the NFL draft, now he's fell from grace. What a great comeback story it would be for Spencer Rattler to go to South Carolina and resurrect himself and become a impact player in the SEC and nationally, and possibly even get back in the Heisman Trophy mix, because the Heisman Trophy odds came out and they actually got, like, Bryce Young's number 1, number 2 was C.J. Stroud, and then they had Spencer Rattler ahead of Caleb Williams. How is that? How can you, if he's such a bad guy in the odds makers and all them people that know football, if he's such a bad guy, why would you rank him ahead of Caleb Williams unless you knew something? So like I said, I think there's a lot of healing going on, and I think everything's going to work out better for Spencer now that he's at South Carolina. I think the Oklahoma Sooners eventually will be better off. They may have some growing pains with Brent Venables at coach, but in the end, this may end up being a good story for Spencer Rattler. He may be the comeback kid of the year. And with that, I'm going to get off of here. You guys and gals tell me what you think about this situation. If you think there's other stuff behind the scenes that maybe I don't know about that you could fill me in on, throw it in the comment section. And as always, like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Please subscribe. And my favorite acronym, KMCA, to all the other teams.